Hey friends, you ever feel like you have no time to get in your exercise and you think, oh my gosh, I got so much going on, I have no time. And if you're like me, do you also hate it equally badly or much when somebody says, it's not all about time, it's about priorities. And if this was a priority for you, you would make it happen. But it clearly is not a priority for you because you're not getting in your exercise. Shame, shame, shame on you. Like, I hate that. I hate that. Maybe I hate it because it's rooted in shame and it's rooted in trying to tell me that something's wrong with me for being too busy to exercise. And so that's why at Couch to Active, I'm all about figuring out how to actually make this a lifestyle and not saying lifestyle as a platitude like, ooh, look at me and my Instagram lifestyle of health and wellness and fitness, because I have made this all a priority because I am so self-important. Like, oh my gosh, wow, where did that come from? That was like, that came out way too easy. Okay. So here's one trick, one tip on how to bust that whole I don't have time for it fallacy. First and foremost, some of us, when it comes to the no time thing, some of us legit have lots of stuff going on, right? And so that's something to look at. So I want to just put that out there and let you know that I see it, I hear you, and this is not something that you can just flip on a switch and like magically, since you've made it a priority, you can now find the time. Like, it just doesn't fit in cramming our lives into little boxes that we check off. Just doesn't fit into how I like to live. Even though I do love my checklists. Okay, so how to bust the no time fallacy. Here's one tip. Sometimes what's happening with us when we feel like we don't have enough time, it's not so much that we don't actually have the time as much as we just don't have the mental space to do it. And because we are dealing with so many pieces of survival. We're grocery shopping, we're running errands, we're working jobs, we're taking care of kids, we're taking care of our own health issues, our own issues. We're dealing with last year, like OMG last year, right? I mean, 2020, woo. So happy to type on my computer 2021. We got legit things going on. And so to take a whole new routine, habit, whatever you want to call it, to get this exercise thing into our lives, it legit is exhausting and it's big work. And so what I've learned is if I can do anything to take the mental space out of it, the mental load out of it, then it makes it easier. So here's a couple examples. One time in my life, when I was particularly busy, and you could say I legit had no time. I had a full-time, high stakes, high demand senior management role as a consultant for a company managing a project that was being deployed in 20 countries globally. I was managing over 100 people traveling to all these different countries. I was managing all the crazy HR issues that come out of that. Oh my gosh. So-and-so is skinny dipping in the hotel pool. We don't want to see our colleague doing that. Like, okay. So anyhow, dealing with all kinds of stuff. While I was a single mother, barely making ends meet myself, like no extra cash to really do anything. And I was having to take my child to daycare every single morning. So I was out the door by 7:15 with my kid every morning. And you've heard this story before where I just like grit my teeth. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard when somebody tells me, oh, it's all about priorities. And I'm looking at myself saying, okay, so what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, I wake up at 5 a.m. and, exercise. And then at 6 a.m. I meditate. And at 7 a.m. I eat my breakfast. And I'm like, I'm out the door with a toddler in a suit by 7 a.m. and I'm exhausted. So anyhow, I digress. Mental space and space to do this seemed crazy difficult. So here's what I did. And it was not necessarily intentional. It wasn't like I'm the superhuman person. I just stumbled across it and then looked back and was like, oh, wow, that actually worked. So what I did, and I'm not suggesting you do this. I'm suggesting you figure out for yourself what your thing could be, is I became a group fitness instructor because I wanted to get paid to exercise, not pay to exercise, because I just didn't have the cash at the time for a gym membership. And I would get home from work. I would pick up my son, who at the time was 5, 6 years old. We would drive together to the gym. We will have spent, we get him a little snack or something. We drive together to the gym, and then I would drop him off at the gym daycare. Now, I know on the outside looking in, this looks really bad on paper. I'm taking my kid from one daycare to the next. But what surprised me was that my kiddo actually loved the daycare at the gym. He really looked forward to Mildred, who worked at the gym. Yes, her name was Mildred. And yes, she was a little crazy, but she was awesome. My son loved Mildred, and they had so much fun together. And then I got my exercise teaching, and then I picked my son up an hour later. And a lot of times we would go get pho somewhere, or go to he called it the spinning belt place, where we could pick up little sushi off the spinning belt, right? At Blue Sea Sushi in Bellevue back then. And it ended up what I thought would be like, I don't have time to do this. My kid is already in daycare all day long. Ended up being actually really special time. And my son was actually proud of me and what I did. Like my corporate gig, he had no idea what it was. Like project management for a global release of an IT product. Like, who knows what that is, right? But mommy's a teacher at the gym. Look at mommy. He loved that. And then that time just ended up being really special time together. And so on paper, I thought this is terrible, but in reality, it ended up being really awesome. And here's what it was. Mentally, it was so easy for me to do. I had that time with my kiddo. When I taught at the gym, there was no mental negotiation. There was no, oh, I'm tired today. I'm not going to go to the gym. Oh, I don't want to exercise today. I just don't feel it. I was the teacher. I couldn't quit. I had to show up, even if I didn't feel great. And then afterwards, the time with my kiddo was just so much fun. And we just did so many fun little things together. So that's one little example of just pulling the mental space out of it. So very likely for a lot of people, it looks like signing up for a class. And so now you just have the time because you've signed up for a class. Or you sign up for a group of people who play volleyball, or you meet with a group of friends. Anything you can do so it takes the mental work out of it. This is partly why going to the gym by yourself is incredibly difficult for everybody, even people who've been going for years. Some people love it, but they're the outliers. For the vast majority of us, going to the gym is hard because every single step on that treadmill, you can say, yep, I'm done. Every single weight machine you go to, you can say, nah, I'm not going to work as hard, or, oh, I'll skip that one. It's just mentally so tough because every step you take, every move you make, you're watching yourself, right? And it's really hard. You have to, every second of every moment, you have to keep yourself motivated. This is why workout videos are so hard, because when you turn a workout video on at home, every second of every motion, you have to think, keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's why getting yourself into something where there's a real person there or a real group there or something that takes that mental work out of it for you makes it so you can actually do it. So take a look at that for yourself. If you're saying, I'm too busy, ask yourself, is it actually your mind is too busy and your mental ability to be able to work through exercise is too busy. And maybe you just need to offload that onto something else more fun, something where you can just relax and just go with the flow and not have to make it so much darn mental work. And with that, maybe you can find the time, or the time does not become an issue anymore. So friends, please let me help you figure this out. If this resonated with you, if you're like, you have the time, but you don't have the time, blah, blah, blah. And if you're filled with shame around all of this, or like, oh, I'm not good enough, head on over to couchtoactive.com, sign up for a coaching session with me. We will get you up and running in a way that you can make this be full of joy, because that's what we want life to be about. All right, friends, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.